Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the next episode. In this one, we are going to discuss another beautiful name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Aziz. So, I will get into the meaning in a moment, but before that, I want to ask a question. Imagine being betrayed by your own family and being sold as a slave and end up being in a prison for the things you never committed and staying there for years and years and years. How would you feel? Would you say this is not fair? Oh God, why this is happening to me? Today's story is about a beautiful person with beautiful patience and with a beautiful character and a beautiful outer and inner look, and that's Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. So now we get to the meaning, then later on we'll get to the fuller story. The name Al-Aziz, as the scholars say, it comes, the root is Izzah, is honor. When we say Al-Aziz, it means the most honorable. That's one of the most beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All honor belongs to him. He's the most honorable. But listen to the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, and you will find out why am I bringing the honor and Yusuf alayhi salam's story. And hopefully you will enjoy it. So with that, let's dive into the story. As we all know from the Quran, Yusuf alayhi salam's story, it starts with a dream where he dreams of 11 stars and the sun and the moon prostrating to him. When he tells the story to his father Yaqub alayhi salam understands its meaning, but he says, my son, be careful, do not tell this your dream to your brothers. Even then, we know the rest of the story what happened. These brothers, they take him because they know they didn't like that his father was kind of, according to them, Yaqub alayhi salam was loved Yusuf alayhi salam more. So they took him and they plot against him. They throw him in the well and brings Yusuf alayhi salam's shirt to him. Just keep in mind in shirt. In the end I will mention another story about the shirt. So the shirt is a recurring theme in the story. So brings his shirt to show that the wolf eat Yusuf alayhi salam, and Yaqub doesn't believe them. He cries, but there's nothing he can do. As we know the rest of the story, that a caravan they're going through that well, they pick him up, they sell him as a slave. And then he ends up with one of his lords, serving. And then we also know the story that Yusuf alayhi salam becomes in a situation where the wife of that master blames him, to seduce him. But as we know from the story that, again, coming back to the shirt, right? And then the people say, look at the shirt. If it's from the front, then your wife is telling the truth. If it's from the back, it means the Yusuf is running, she is putting from the back, so Yusuf is right. And they look at the shirt and say it's from the back. Even though it was wrong, but he ended up still going to the jail because Yusuf alayhi salam made the dua and said, oh Allah, give me, better outcome from this. I don't. And then Allah subhanahu what I'm saying is that Yusuf alayhi salam ends up in jail. As we know from the story, he ends up there many, many years. For a lot of people, it will be way too much. Betrayal, being as a soul slave, and in prison. But we know from the story that even there, he keeps his cool. He's with his beautiful patience. Even there, we know he calls people to truth. And we know that. How do we know from the Quran? He's calling people, telling them to believe Allah, etc. And he even interprets some of his dreams. That's how eventually he gets out, because at that time the ruler of that country, which is in Egypt, he had this dream. Nobody could interpret except Yusuf alayhi salam. And what he says is that very interesting. He says, look, put me in charge. Not only I'll interpret your dream, but also make sure good will come out of this. By doing that, by his wisdom, alhamdulillah, hence rise above being dishonored to a powerful station in Egypt. And later on in the story, his brothers comes asking for food. He knows them. And then long story short, as we know, that he brings his younger brother Benjamin, and later on he gives his shirt. Again, remember the shirt to his brothers, and when they put it to Yaqub alayhi salam's eyes, he said, oh, this is a smell. He remembers. It starts with a shirt, it ends with a shirt. And they all come, his father, Yaqub alayhi salam, mother, and 11 brothers. And when they come, this is the interpretation, this is the fulfillment of that dream. where he had in the beginning of the story 11 stars, sun and moon prostrating to him. And the meaning and the symbolism of the dream is, even though when we look at his life, we may think in the beginning, oh, people doing injustice, he's being sold as a slave and ending up in prison. If you look at the things as we look at it as the things as maybe is a dishonored state. But in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's eyes, it was just a part of the plan and preparing him what's about to come. But in the end, he ends up being one of the most honorable among where he lives. So why am I telling this story? And how is the Yusuf story is related to honor and dishonor, right? So here comes the paradox. Because you see, all honor belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and some of the people, they look and they seek honor. While it could be not wrong, but we have to remember, honor is not achieved by seeking honor. However, it's found and discovered by being humble in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not in front of people. Because in front of people you can try to be humble, sometimes you do a humble brag. We don't know what's in our hearts, right? But however, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything about us, if you're actually truly humble in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He's the one who gives honor to whomever He wills. However, as servants, we are not necessarily looking for honor. What we are looking instead is like trying to be humble, trying to serve in the best possible way, and He gives honor to whomever He wills, right? And this is the story. This is the lesson from the story we get. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honors those who are patient, who are on His path and persistent. And this is the same thing we see in the Prophet Yusuf story. This is the same thing you see in Prophet Muhammad's story. That's why many stories, many prophets we see, they are very humble, very persistent going on, and Allah honors them. And I want to end this session with a dua and say, oh Allah, we ask by your almost honorable names, keep us humble, keep us sincere in serving you, and guide us to the straight path. And all honor belongs to you, and help us to be a better person, sincere person, not to worry about what people think. Only we worry about what you think of us, because we want to be in a state that pleases you. Guide us and grant us the best in this world and the next. Having said that, this is the end of this episode. Again, if you want to follow the book, check out the book. If you like this episode, like this story, please share friends and family. And last but not the least, if you don't want to miss the next episode, you know what to do. Click subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum.